Go. All right, beauties and gents. We are back. Rise of the Kings podcast, episode 10. It's your boy, Tony Wilson. And I got my man, TJ, locking in, man. We finna bring you another rousing episode of the Rise of the Kings podcast. We got some great topics for you today, but we're going to do things a little different when we start off. I'm going to have my boy, TJ, actually start us off with the questioning. TJ, go.
What's going on, Brother Wilson? It's good to be here. Happy Thanksgiving week to everybody out there. Man, we're going to talk about some stuff today. So, just want to fill you in on some stuff that happened to me over this past week. And we'll segue into our first topic. I am an employee. I'm the front office guy for my mother's family clinic in Baton Rouge now. I've been back working for about 4 or 5 weeks after 7 months of being furloughed, which is probably the most secretly nerve-wracking thing that you'll ever go through, because you just watch your savings and all of your acquisitions just kind of dry up, and just to see how bigwigs in Washington want to play with your livelihood and stuff. That wasn't fun, but I mean, it's good to be back working. Having to wear one of these every day at work for 10 hours isn't so fun, but I mean, you do what you got to do at the end of the day. I'll tell you what, working with and for family is rewarding, but sometimes contentious. And so I wanted to ask you, Tony, as an adult now, how do you handle parental conflict? Go.
It's so interesting, because, for the audience out there, my wife and I were out of town doing a speaking engagement in Dallas, Texas, and we were going to take a week off from recording. But then TJ called me in his animated self and was like, bruh, I need to talk about this topic. And he brought this up and he told me the backdrop behind why he wanted to talk about this. What was so crazy, why I was like, man, we have to record now, because I'm literally going through that currently right now with parental conflict. It was just me and my mom growing up, right? So my father died when I was 3. And I was always the man of the house. It was always just me and my mom. I was always the protector. I was the person that, I just took care of things. And I also was raised with this level of hardness and tough love that, it made me the man I am today. But it also has caused friction, in our adult relationship now, because I am married. I have a wife. I have a daughter. And that causes conflict because my mom is no longer that number one woman, right? My daughter comes first and my wife comes before that. So in my situation, my mom has experienced a lot of trauma in the last 3 years with her mom dying. And it's just brought about a lot of things that have shown codependency between us, but also have shown a level of toxicity. Okay. So with her dealing with that trauma, you've just seen a lot of lashing out. And you see with me, she kind of lashes out in a way that's comfortable, because I have always just been okay, that's my mom. She's mad. I've always been able to read between the lines with her and make sure that no matter what is going on, I know how she's feeling. And even though her words may sound mean, her words may be bad, her actions may be bad, I can always see through that and be she's just hurting right now. She's just hurting. But with me going through my own trauma, me going through my own healing process, that has taken a toll on me, because it's no longer about reading between those lines. It's about your words hurt, your actions hurt. Okay. And that has taken away from me being a productive father, being a productive husband. And I had to learn to start setting boundaries. Now, the issue with that is because for 35 years, I mean, all I did was make excuses and create these concessions of like, this is her behavior. Let me try to justify it, right? I even got my wife to understand, like, if my mom acts this way, this is what she really means. But I had to learn to stop doing that because it's causing a lot of hurt. It's causing a lot of pain.
You're
So essentially,
enabling her.
yes, enabling. And I said it to my wife. My wife was like, she didn't want to call it enabling because she says from your teenage years, you couldn't possibly enable her. But she's like, maybe the last 5 years you enabled her. And I'm like, yes, okay, that's true. But I had to recently draw some lines because with my mom, she has grown up in this very tumultuous, abusive childhood that has really caused some arrested development. But she has never fully gotten the proper help. There's been avenues for her to get the help, but she's never fully gotten the proper help that she needs to be able to get past that. So what she does is she just kind of puts that emotional labor on the people of her life. And then we just like, okay, let's create this world around her and make all these excuses. But then we start to see a series of like self-destructive behavior, right? So like whenever we have a holiday, whenever we go on a family vacation, she causes some sort of like argument, like out of nowhere, just like creates a fight and argument every time we're about to do something great as a family. So my wife was like, I don't want to go on any more family vacations with her. I don't want her here for any more holidays. And, you know, I made excuses and my wife allowed a few more, but then the patterns kept coming. And so essentially, I had to stop speaking to her for about 2.5 months. And recently, I would say about 3 weeks ago, we reconnected and it seemed like there was a change, but there wasn't. And I would say not too long ago, about a week ago, it just like the same patterns just started happening. And it takes so much out of me, man. It takes so much out of me because you don't want to be beefing and battling with your mom. You don't want to go through that. And because even when you're right, you still feel wrong. You know what I mean? And
I
so,
can only imagine that as an only child.
right.
And see, I have siblings, but I'm the oldest and the only boy. So I'll get into my codependencies, but my relationship with my mother is different than my sister's relationships with her on a lot of reasons. So go ahead, continue. My bad.
But yeah, so essentially, like I had to just make the choice of like, it's like what we talked about, TJ. If you're not gonna do the work, I can't have you around. And so essentially what happened was, man, like my wife, like I basically let her back in our lives and I didn't talk about anything in the past because I just knew it was not going to work. Whenever you set a boundary, whenever you try to talk, it becomes an argument and this fierce like defensiveness. And I was like, I just don't want to go through that. But my wife was like, nah, I'm not proceeding with this holiday unless you have this conversation. And she said, fuck it, I'm going to have the conversation. Calls my mom, talks to her. My mom's polite. My mom's cool, calm, like, yeah, boom, 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 boom. But you can hear in her answers, she's not taking accountability. It's still like somewhere like I'm wrong in all the whole situation. So I said to my wife, I'm going to make the executive decision that we're just not going to do holidays together for this year and let everything blow over. Next day, I get a call. Mom, mad. She's interpreting everything as if I sent my wife to do my dirty work, which never happened. But that's that angle where, because it's like, she's comfortable putting that emotional labor and that anger on me. And I'm just like, dog, why are you even calling me with this bullshit?
She's used to you curving in.
Right. So I basically said, like, look, bro, if you're not going to do the work and fix yourself and get these things fixed, because you're not going to keep calling me with this. My wife wanted to talk to you about that, and you calling me with the fuck shit. I'm going to just have to go ahead and say, man, fuck it. Look, do you. And yes, that hurt. And there's like a mourning period of that. But I need to be a good husband and a good father. And when I'm putting up with that emotional labor, it takes me away from being the productive and good husband and father that I am. And I just have to stand my ground on that. So the way I look at that is with parental conflict is, if you're not going to do the work, I can't do anything about that. And this goes like, I got a cousin in Dallas and my cousin in Minnesota. We talk all the time. We go through the same thing. All our parents obviously grew up together. We go through the same things. And some of them are like, well, I see it in them that they can be good and I want to work on it. I said, that's cool. If that's what you want to do, I'm done with that. They went through a lot of abuse and a lot of bullshit, and I'm sorry. I am. But what I create in my household is a level of peace, comfort, happiness, calm. And sometimes they just bring the mess. And I can't allow that. I can't allow that because it takes too much out of me. And that's not fair to my wife. That's not fair to my daughter. That's not fair to myself. Because I know for a fact I'm not out here causing no bullshit. I know I've done bullshit that have hurt people. But I work on my healing. I've apologized. I've forgiven myself. I cannot sit there and allow somebody to keep putting that emotional bullshit on me where that takes me down a notch and it takes away from my family. So I had to prioritize that. And to be honest with you, I don't think if I did not have my family, I don't know if I would be that same person. I'd probably still be that enabler if I didn't have my wife and my daughter.